Hello and welcome back to Factor Y. In our last episode, we started a brand new series for a brand new save for the 1.0 release. The 1.0 release was delayed a little bit, but it is now fully out and available and marked down by 30% or something like that. So now it's a good time to pick it up, and it is a very reasonably expensive game. I think it's only regular price, like $8 or $10, and so then it's marked down from there. So yeah, take a look at it, and if you're interested, there's also a demo out there too. You can take a look at it and see and make sure that you like it before you buy it. Actually, it's a regularly $7 game, and it's marked down below $5 US. So yeah, well worth the price in my opinion. So let's jump in here and make a couple of tweaks and changes. And while this research goes, which is working on 3-belt mixing, and then we can use some of that to start doing some expansion. Let's see here. Let's do switch this to arms because, well, I screwed up, and I also have to delete this because I had belts in there, and we have plenty of belts, and I put belts over here. We also need to start making some other things. Assembling machines would be a high-ranking answer for that because, well, we need assembly machines to make more things, and so we need to start making assembly machines because we only have now 8 left. This needs bricks, though, stone bricks. We're going to have to smelt some stone bricks, and then it needs some gears. So we'll go ahead and make another gear maker. Actually, let's move this over there. We'll grab one of these gear makers from this. We can bring this down like that. You can grab these, grab that, and then bring some bricks in here. This is stone? Yes, this is stone. We also are going to have to start making some furnaces real quick here. Let's do this a little differently. It's you go... I remembered how I needed to do this to get 2 resources in here. So I just got to remember how exactly, but I remember how. Let's see. You gotta go there, I think, and until we get the belt components being made. Oh, we're down to our last miner. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good at all. Let's see. You gotta stay running. Do I really want 2 of these here? Maybe I don't. Let's steal this miner, and we're gonna keep it. I mean, in this area here, of course, but we're gonna steal it, and it's gonna go this way. And then I want to take this way. We need a miner here, and this one needs to go here. Yes, there. And then this can come out this way and go down like this. And it'll stop there for now, but if we want to add a second stone brick maker, I can do that, and I'll show you how in just a moment. And make sure I place these correct. This second furnace would go here, which isn't the best place. Let's change this slightly again. Delete, go over there, delete, go over there, delete, go over there. You can go then here and here. And then this belt would go here. And then if we wanted another furnace, we'd put it in here. And then this one could go, say, like this, and down. Maybe I'll do it like this then instead, so that I can put in 2 arms here if I wanted to do it later. I'm not going to do it right now, but if I want to do it later, that way that's set up right. And then this can come down and go into this way, like that. And then that still needs to go into a provider, but this one I'm going to knock the limit down to like 50. Probably not even that many, but 50 is fine. That way we can start making some assemblers. Bricks are going good. We don't have enough miners to do any more than that, but this is how you would do a repeatable design. You have to do it on a diagonal, and you have to build it over one of the patches. So if you wanted to do copper, we'd have to do something like this, although that one's not going to work out well because this patch is small. But you have to build it over one of the patches if you want to get more than one before you have all this this belt stuff going correctly. I also want to break this slightly because I want to move these, or put these into a box later. We're running low on power. Oh, okay. I want to put them into a box later because I would like them to go into a belt first, and we can do it like this actually. But I want them to come onto a belt because once this is full, then I want to be able to turn these belts into other belt components through another assembler, etc. So let's start with that, and that other belt component is going to be our crossings, which will need to have belts and screws. One belt or 4 belts every 1024, which is 1 belt every 256, which is exactly what this is making. So this isn't perfect, but it'll do for now. We'll make some of those, but I'm going to limit those kind of severely, like 10. Yeah, I think like 10. And that might not be where I want it, but that might be okay too. And then we need screws also, of course, and that needs iron, so I have to bring the iron down and around, but that'll be all right as well. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make these 1 by 1 for right now. We'll just make 10 of each thing for right now and change out the machine each time. You gotta be screws though. Don't screw up while there you go. And it needs also 4 screws in that same time period, 1024. This makes 1 screw every 256, excuse me. So that means that we need to have 1 screw for every belt, and 1 screw maker will be good here. Okay, so that'll make a few of those crossings. We'll have at least a few to get us started. Once we have those going, we can do more, and then we can do more, and then we can do more. And I think what I'll do is probably just move away from this factory and build up here, where we have a bit more iron, some more coal we can use, a huge amount of copper up there too for later. And we can just do that by doing this, although we're going to have to also build some of these pretty soon. Pretty soon. Yeah, we better get that one too. And then I'm down to the last couple here. And then we can delete this factory as we go. We can replace it with something else in this area, but at least for right now we can delete it. And or after we're done moving everything, we can delete it. Okay. How many of these have you made now? Crossings. 1. They're making now, though. It was just a little bit behind. And plus, we're still stealing belts for this, which we might not want to do. Oh, we only need a few. That's fine. And you don't have any belts, so we're going to have to wait on that. Okay. In the meantime, what else can we work on? We're still doing this research. That's an important thing. We're using way too much power, though. We could actually expand our power here a little bit if we have more of these, which we do. There's some math that's involved with this, and I'm going to steal some more belts, of course. There's some math that's involved with this, and I have to redo the math every time. But the idea is that these will burn every 1 coal every... well, the smelt speed is 100. They will burn every 1 coal every, I think, 1,000. And each of these is mining... You know, I didn't explain how this works. There's a cooldown base and a cooldown effective on this screen. The cooldown base is what the miner gets no matter what, or what the miner gets assuming there's only 1 node underneath it. So like if I put one right here, which it won't actually let me do because you have to put it on a supply. Oh no, I can't afford them. Never mind. Let me borrow that, please. So here, even if I don't put it on any, the cooldown base is still 2304. If I move it in here where there's 1, it's still 2304, and the cooldown effective is also 2304. If I move it to where there's 2, that's the CDE down at the bottom there, by the way, cooldown effective. Cooldown base is 2304, always will be. Cooldown effective now has been cut in half to 1152. That's because there are 2 patches underneath this miner's influence zone right there. So if you want to make miners work faster, the best way to do that is to have them cover as much as possible, which is up to 9, which is what I've done with these here. They're up to 9 now, so they will produce 1 coal every 256 ticks, the cooldown effective down there. And that's as fast as they can go because they can only cover 9 tiles. And so now we're producing 3 coal every 256, and these will consume 1 coal every... I have to remember what the number is. I think it's every 1,000. I have the number someplace and I didn't grab it, but I think it's every 1,000. So you end up with a line of these that can fill a whole belt, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But then they will, then they can burn through that coal, and I think it ends up being like 50 of these to like 13 of these. And we'll look at those numbers in a little bit. I think it's 50. Actually, I know it's 50. I don't know why this shows smelt speed is 100. I would think it should be 1,000. But I'm misremembering some aspect of this. Is it how much energy a coal chunk has? It might be due to the energy a coal chunk has. Yeah, I think... I see what it is. The thermal energy of the coal is 100,000 units. You can see it starts out at 100,000 and works its way down. The smelt speed is 100, therefore 100,000 divided by 100 is 1,000. So these will burn 1 coal every 1,000 ticks. These will produce 1 coal every 256 ticks. So we're making 3 every 256, which means that we can support 1,000 divided by 256. No. 1,000. I typed it wrong. Divided by 256, which is just shy of 4 miners each. 4 furnaces for each miner. So I can actually get 12 furnaces up here if I want to. And I want to maybe go to 8. Just to have enough. We're not running low on power. Believe you me, we are not running low on power. And I'm going to steal the other one because we can support just short of 8. No, actually, so it's just short. It's not 50 then. It's less than 50. On a no, actually it's not. I changed my mind again. It is 50 of these with 13 of these because of the belt speed. So we're gonna have 8. That'll put us up to 1.3k, which is 800 units plus the 500 in the base, and that's 1,300, 1.3 thousand. Okay. So now that I remembered how this works, we can now come over. Now we're good on power for a little while. We are making assemblers. I made 50. I don't need to make 50 of those. Let's stop that at 20. For right now, in this little starter base, let's stop that at 20. We're at 17. That'll be good. And then we should look at the recipe for miners next, because we're almost out of those. We have like 1 left. And these need screws, and that's it. And the screws need iron, of course. We need 4 screws every 1024. We know how the screw recipe works. And we know how the crossings work. Wait, are you done with crossings now? You might be. No, you have 3. Why is that taking so long? Oh, because the belts. Right, I keep stealing belts. Okay, so what we can do is we can get this ready to go somewhere. Where? You know what, actually, let's steal this here. We're making technically not enough to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to make 20 of these also with that there. That way I copied the one that has 20, so it kept the 20. If I had copied the one that had 10, it would have kept the 10 and 100, etc. So as the screws are backed up here, at least, this one will grab some, which should be okay. This isn't the best way to do it, but it's the way that I'm doing it for now, just to conserve materials a little bit. And actually the issue is not enough iron because somebody cut off the coal here. Yep, shouldn't have done that either. Let's fix that. You know what? Let's move that back here. Move that back there. Oopsie. Nope, stop. I keep doing the wrong button. Let's do that instead. That way this one is now on 8 of 9, which means almost fast enough instead of whatever we had it on before, 5. Because I forgot also in the last episode, it's amazing how the brain slips without very much time passed. These take 200 seconds. They want a coal and an iron every 200 seconds, which means that we have to get this, or 200 ticks, excuse me, which means we have to get this down to, we have to have this at all 9 in order for that to work. Now, the 200 here isn't exactly a true statement because I'm limited by the actual inserter speed, which is 128 for each 180 degrees, so 256. So in effect, these are 256 because of the inserter speeds. But we need to do more of this. We need to do more of that. We need to do more of everything. And this is fine with just 1 because I wasn't thinking. But once again, as long as we have this on 9, this is running full time. This can use it full time, which is good. So these I should have done a little bit better job with placing, but they're okay for now. This one's not so much, but we must not be using it very often. Oh, because this is in a really bad spot. Let's move that up to at least an 8. And we should also move the other one over there too, up a little bit. There and there. Delete that. This one here, move up there. This one here, move up there. Maybe this one here. That'll give me a... Oh, I could actually move this over by 1 and get a 9 out of it. Even better. Oops. Did it again. I deleted it instead of cloning. Okay, excellent. This one's not great, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, so that's making all these things. How many miners did we make, or do we have in the buffer? Not very many. How many of these do we have in the buffer? 6 now. Yeah, belts. I keep using belts. Stop using belts, Wally. Let the belts go. I could also get rid of this for a little while, or turn it off just by turning it. I put the one that was in it back on the belt so this could use it. But yeah, you're not getting enough screws now because this is actually using most of them. See, that's what happens when you starve it out. Oh, let's see. What's... Oh, you're an issue too. Let's move you at least up to here. That way it gets 8. Let's do an arm here. An arm here. No. But maybe. And then put some belts in. That'll do. That'll give me a little bit more coal, which will make things a little bit better. That's on 8. This one's on 7. So this will actually have produce more coal than iron, but that's okay. Let's see. Crossings. We're going to need those, and then we're going to need some of these. Or something else. We can do, well, we can get there, but we can do smelting columns a couple of different ways. And the most efficient way to do it is to do a smelting column, because then you can produce a whole belt of ingots from a whole belt of iron, a whole belt of coal. But we need miners for that, and we need to have all the things for that. So that's a little bit of work yet to get to. We need to start making these also, which these are actually easy, I think. Let me take a look here. Do I have... Where are they at? Here? There. These only need bricks. So let's do this, and this, and actually move over there. Move over there. Yeah. Move this here, and one there, and move this there. And we'll share that one. Just because we only have a few more of these left as well. So sharing is caring. And that'll just take whatever bricks we can take here. It needs 8 bricks every 2048, which is exactly 1 brick every 256. This needs 8 every 2048, which is exactly 1 brick every 256. Excuse me. And this is making, at least in theory, 1 brick every 256, effectively. Yes. So really, we're only making enough for one of these, but for now, this will be fine. Because I also crowded myself in, so I can't even get this coal belt to where that other furnace would go in here. Whoopsie. Crowded myself in. Gotta do it to get it done, though. Okay, crossings are at 7. We are having a hard time getting iron down here. Because I'm stealing it for the belts. But they're done stealing now until they get used, so this will be okay. There we go. Now we're getting iron down here. And power keeps ticking up as we add more things. Each segment of belt consumes 1 unit of power. Unlike many factory games where the belts are magic, these are actually powered. Same thing with the arms, they consume 4. And obviously the higher tier ones, which we will get to a little bit later on, consume even more. We're going to need to set up more labs eventually getting made, because we could really use whatever it was, like 4 total. We looked at the recipe for that the last time, but it was a lot of copper and some iron, and we would need to have a bunch more miners for that. We only have 1 because we're not getting any screws here, because I screwed myself with that idea. because I'm not really making enough iron to make it worthwhile. There we go. Okay, now the crossing should be coming out. We're at 10. Let's stop this and stop that. No, one more of those, please. And one more belt, please. And then we'll stop. I'm going to accept more there. One more of those. One more belt. There. And I'm going to change this to, like, 15. So that we can use the stuff we made just because it's a little bit slow and we need more effective. It needs a lot of belts, that's why. Okay, so back to this. Let's do swappers first. So these have an interesting behavior, which is kind of unheard of in other factory games. Oh, we're gonna have to do something about this too. Let's see. Your last screw was yesterday. Let's go down here with this. You can stay there, that's fine. You can be done in just a moment. That's good. This can come down here. We're going to do, not screws, but rods here. I'm going to put it back in its right spot, but I wanted to set the recipe first. We'll go there, and then this can go into there, and we can start making swappers. And we're going to stop that at 10 again. Just again, so we can keep control over how much stuff that I make. Okay, so this miner is done now. We're going to move it over there. I'm going to move this down. Move this down there. And that way we can pick up some iron here for the screws for the miners, and that way we can make more miners eventually. But I can use the rods to make these things. So swappers, let's get that first one made, and then I will show you how swappers work. And then we'll also show you how mixers work. These take a little bit longer. They take 1536, but they need 2 belts, which is much less in the belt department, but 6 rods, which is exactly the right number because 6 times 256 is 1536. That's really nice. Let's do a swapper. I'll show you how, or I'll talk about how that works. So a swapper is a 2 belt structure. It has 2 inputs, of course, and 2 outputs. And what this does, is you can kind of tell by the indicated color bars here, is it takes everything coming in on this side and outputs it onto that side. And it takes everything coming in on this side and outputs it on that side without mixing. So it's not like a Factorio balancer, splitter balancer, where it will mix ingredients. This will just swap them. They will go from left to right, right to left. And you can kind of think of it as like, in Factorio, you might have done a structure where you did a filter output on one output, and you then did this type of thing to swap the items that are on each lane, for example. So you had one double belt coming in, you'd have filtered the output so that it put it on the other side, and then you'd have the opposite pairing coming out. It kind of works in that kind of way, but it's really useful for one style of smelting columns. That's why I want them. But we need to have a bunch of them, so we're going to have to wait for them to get made. But we do need to make smelting columns, because we do need to have a crap ton of iron. How are miners doing? You have 9 of them. I want to get that up to at least 13. And I guess we could talk about that while we're talking about things. So the reason 13 is such a key number, actually the number is 12.8, but you can't have 0.8 of something, so 13 is the key number. The reason 13 is a key number is the cooldown effective of a miner on 9 is 256. The effective swing time of an arm is 256 round trip, and therefore the effective smelting speed of a furnace is 256 as well. So you can see 256 is a common theme here. Also, a lot of these things are 256, and a lot of other things are 256. It's a very common number for some reason. I don't know why. But if you do the math on that, in conjunction with the cooldown of a belt, and that is 20 ticks per step on the belt, And there are 5 steps. You can see that 1/5 per cooldown moves 1/5 of the belt distance. Transports up to 5 items one direction. So you can have 5 items on a segment of belt, and the cooldown per position, per advanced position, is 20 ticks. So if you do 256 divided by 20, you get 12.8. So the most amount of smelters, for example, that you can output onto a Mark 1 belt is 12.8, and that'll give you a full belt of that material. The same thing goes for miners. If you're mining on all 9 so that you have full coverage, you can put 12.8 miners on a belt. Now, of course, if you are not quite getting all 9s, like if you have an 8 or something like that down here, actually that's okay. 1 8 and 12 9s is fine, because 8 out of 9 is 0.88, which is greater than 0.8. So you can have one of them on 8 and the rest on 9s, and you're fine. As long as it's 12 9s and an 8, you're fine. Or 13 9s. So you can do a fully densely packed belt that way. However, there are some belt compression issues, and which I will try to demonstrate, but it's kind of better to not try to output onto a single belt directly, and instead output onto 2 belts and then mix them together, merge them together using either the mixer, which we're going to make a few of here very soon, or the how many of these swappers do we have now, by the way? 9. Okay, good, we're there. I need to stop you after you insert not this one, but the one immediately following. We need to set this up to like 15 again. Because there's 4 in there right now. You got 1 in your hand. Forget it. Just delete the 1 in your hand. That's fine. And we'll get this one out here, and we'll make 1 more after this, I think, with all these rods, and then we can move on with our advancement into mixers, and then also into the 3-belt mergers and splitters. 2 more rods, come on. Yeah, we're fighting over some contention here over iron, so we're fighting over that a little bit until we have all the miners, which is 5 more. And then it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, good. And then I'm going to delete this just so that it stops. And then once this is done processing, we'll switch that to be a mixer. Because mixers also take rods, so this is fine. This is fine. Luckily, we're outputting 2, and so they're coming in at the same time, because we have them kind of timed well. And so they're able to each grab one of the 2, and then swing back before the other one can steal it again. All right, so now you can be a mixer. Here. And these... rods, good. I want to check also the other 2, which take rods. Actually, I could mouse over. Yeah, rods. Okay, good. So we're just going to make a few of those too. Let's knock this back down to 10, just again for the reasons. And then once this mixer is good to go, then we can talk about how those work a little differently than swappers. And we wait, though. Oh, we need belts, right? Wally, you're a ding-dong. There you go. Go in there, belts. And let's actually put a few more belts in here, because we stole a few over time, and we could use a few more back. Luckily, we have plenty of belts, so this will get caught up. And this will let the iron back up a little bit here for this one to be able to do a little more minor processing. Actually, you're done. Good. We'll let the iron back up a little bit there. Even better. All right, so these will go... let me see here. We're at 97, etc. That's 99. And that's 100. Do that. We have a mixer now. So the mixers are different. We can actually put them up side by side so you can see the difference. The mixers have still the red input and the yellow input, but it has 2 orange outputs. And that's because the inputs, if you input a belt of something here and a belt of something here, the output belts would have half each. And remember, these are single lane belts. So unlike with Factorio, where you might do this to, you know, and have two separate lanes on the belt, maybe you do it to have two lanes come together or something along that line. This will mix the lanes. So these are really good for merging, but I don't really see the advantage to using them other than that. So if you want to do a merger, you know, let's say you have two belts of iron ore coming in, which we're going to have later, and you want to output that onto a single belt, this is a good way to do that. So there you are. We'll make some of those. And actually, we could start doing some work over here for our first smelting column, an iron smelting column, using this giant patch. And actually, that's going to use a bunch of our iron, or our miners rather. But hey, what are you going to do? So we want to have 13 of these, given the numbers that I explained earlier. And I want them to be all on 9s or maybe 1/8, which wouldn't be that. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we'll do 13 right there. Then we need belts, of course, to come out like this and then like this. And as I mentioned, I'm going to do a little bit of merging for this one. And we're going to go... Actually, let's go this way. That'll be iron. We need... Or do I want to go up? I think I want to go up instead. Let's do that instead. We'll do a merger because we can... or mixer rather, because that way we can merge the belts into a single belt that is full. And we'll put arms here, but I'm not going to do it yet. And then we need to do the same thing up here, which we don't have enough miners yet, but we will soon. We want to do, again, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are full ones. That could be a partial, maybe. But this is going to get a little bit oof. 9, 10, and I'm out. I could do one there if I'm clever enough. Am I clever enough? I don't know. 11. I can't get another 9 except for right here, but that'll be in the way. So I don't want to do one there. So we're going to have to do an extra miner. So we need 3 more here. So let's go ahead and do some belts, though. We'll do this output here. We can do an output here. And then we can maybe do an output here. Start there. This can come... Actually, you know what? I lied. Let's go this way. And we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4... 8, 9 on this belt, and only 5 on this belt. Wait, I'm miscounting. Oh yes, because they're partials. We need 1 there, need 1 there, and we're also running low on power. And we need 1 there, which was another reason why I haven't done any arms yet, because they consume power. So 1 there when we get this done. So we'll have 14 miners because 3 of them are on 8s instead of being on... there you are. Instead of being on 9s. And then this can come together, and we can merge that also, like this. And then we want to do a smelting column, but we want to do some more power first. So, let's see. Yeah, we need to add another one of these, which means that I probably shouldn't have built all of those, but it'll be alright. We'll make 1 more here pretty soon. I'm going to wait till... Well, I've got to wait a little longer than that, Wally. Okay, let's add another one of these. And then let's add 2 more of these, like this. Ooh, not like that. Like this, on each side, because that's 4 more. And that's how many... almost how many 1 miner can support. It was 3.9, so... This is actually kind of good, which means we're using slightly more coal than we're producing, but that means we're not overproducing either. But that'll add another 400... power for us, and that'll be very useful. So, smelting furnace. Oh, good, we got 12 of these, or 20 of these. Good. Smelting furnace column. How do we want to do that? There's a couple different ways, and I'll try to talk you through all of them here. One of them is, let's just do like 2 of them together. One of the ways would be to have both ingredients coming in on the same side of the belt. So maybe you have 2 belts like this. They got to come in the same direction. And then you can use the swappers to swap every... Oh yeah, you can't do that. To swap it at each furnace. Because remember, each furnace has to have... We're going to use some arms now. Each furnace has to have coal in and iron in. And then you can... So you have... Let's say you have iron coming in here. You have coal coming in here. You have iron coming in. This one grabs iron. They swap. So now the coal's on top. This one grabs coal. And then you grab from here again. And that's coal still. But then you can put this down. And then you have them swapping again. So iron comes from the bottom back up to the top. And you can put iron in. And that's a repeatable design. And then for your output, you just do a single belt, single output. Yeah, like that. And you have your output belt of iron ingots. That's one smelting design. You know, actually, let's build these next to each other so we can kind of just show them all. Even though it's going to cost me more materials, it's fine. Another way to do this is if you have items coming in from different directions. So this one might come from the left and this one might come from the right. We can actually cheese this a little bit and say, well, let's do single belt in. I know we're running out of power again already. Oh, that's because coal production. Oh, it's just, yeah, these aren't running right now. They will, but they aren't right now. Let's say you have, as long as you have one item that's going in the same direction that your output is going, you can do the same kind of thing with 2 belts here. Let's delete those. We can still do these swappers like this, and we can still have an input here for iron, let's say, and then we have the coal coming in here, and we have the iron out here. So we can pick up the coal here, we can output the iron onto this belt, because remember, that's an empty belt now because that's for the iron output. We can output again here and then input the coal. So that's this design, but in a slightly different way. As long as 2 of your 3 resources are going in the same direction, then you're fine. But what if they're not, or what if you want to handle this somewhat differently? There's a couple of more ways that we can build this, but I need to delete one of these in order to do that. So, because we're power issues. Well, do we? I can't actually show you the other one yet. We don't have the other splitters made yet. Let's do... You're going to be done now. Let's do, again, more of these. I need a couple more rods here. That one, and then this one. Why is coal suffering so badly? I know why. It's because power is low. Oh, no, it's not why. Because I never actually output this one. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. Back down to 1.1. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention now. Okay, delete that. That's fine. Oh, wait a minute. No, keep going. You gotta put 3 more rods in there. Pay attention, Molly. We may have to give it a little bit more coal in order to help a little bit because we are over-subscribing our power. But it might be okay, too. We'll see. And I'm going to swap this recipe out to be a splitter because I want the splitters more than the mergers at this point. The 3-belt splitters rather than this 3-belt mergers. You know what we could have been doing was doing more research. One of the other things with this game, let's go into V. The other things with this game is that research, yeah, let's not do that. Let's do long arms. Or machines use the same amount of power whether they're working or not. So you might as well work them. Because yeah, otherwise you're just you're hurting yourself in the process. Let's do 3 belt splitters here. And let's grab from here, and we'll grab from there. And I probably used... Oh, I used a lot of belts. Let's turn that back on. And that'll make us some splitters. Again, knock that down to 10 so that it stops. Starts to back things up. These require 4 belts, again, in 1024, so they're going to use all the belts. And 2 rods, though, in 1024, so half the rods, which is kind of nice. Because then that'll be backed up a little bit. How's this going now? Oops. That's probably getting yelled at in the chat or something. Let's see. I think that's okay now. We're back up to 1.7, barely there, so that's good. So the other design, we can start it just by, again, doing this. We can still have a belt of iron coming in. And this design's really nice because it's a little bit usage agnostic, because you can do this with belts going in different directions. It doesn't really matter. But we can do a couple of different things using these crossings. So I want to put a crossing in, let's put it here in the middle of each. And let's say we have iron still coming in here. So kind of similar to this design, we have coal coming in here still. So again, similar to this design. But we need to still output. And this design is really nice because it allows us to output in either direction. Actually, I don't need mergers or splitters for this. Oh, that's even better. Okay, good. I was wrong. This goes in like that. We still have that fine. The coal is still on this belt. But the way that these... let's do it that way. The way that the crossings work is anything going east-west is completely separated from anything going north-south. So we can output onto the south edge of this crossing, and it will go north without crossing east-west. However, you cannot grab from this crossing expecting to get the east-west. So like if I wanted to try to grab from here like this, I cannot expect to get the east-west item from this crossing with an inserter on the south edge. It can only get something that comes into it from the north edge. So just keep that in mind, because that could throw you off easily. So we want to output these, and what this will do is this will output... let us take these belts in any combination of directions. So in a way, this is the most universal method. Also, remember the belt throughput mentioning that I did before? Both of these designs will have the same issue with belt throughputs as this would if it was a single belt, because you are outputting... sorry, this one won't. This design will have an issue with belt throughput, because in this design... No, wait a minute. Start again, Wally. Both designs will. Because you're outputting all of these onto a single belt, you will miss gaps every so often. There will be a gap that an inserter cannot fill, and that'll cause a problem down the line from what I saw in my sort of mega base series, if you're trying to use the full belt. So this design here, because these items are side-loaded with the belt, the game gives them a different priority than the inserters have. And if you wanted to make that even more effective, to make sure that you were not accidentally having side load issues or insert issues with a full belt, you could use in this place, actually the ones that I didn't make, the mergers here, and then they would help make sure that things are merged in. So if you're having side load issues, try to break up your belts, or side load or inserter issues. Try to break up your belts into more than one belt so that they can merge together to make a full belt using a merger type of thing. But side loading does seem to work better than inserting. How many of these did we end up making? That's not what I want. We're making splitters. Let's see. We have 5 of them. We can also use this a little bit differently in a different way. We could output onto the this belt and input from this if we put splitters here like this, but we still have the same inserting onto a potentially full belt, the last furnace or two on a full belt of 13. Well, the last one's never going to output completely because it's only 0.8, but the last one before that might also have issues outputting. But you can do this if you need to do, for some reason, a split into this. This will split it across the crossing. But this design I don't really use because it seems to be wasteful. Why not just put the other ingredient on the near belt, and then you don't have to do the splitter thing. So that's another design, but like I said, I don't use it because it doesn't really give me any benefit that I have really seen. So I usually use this design. This is my sort of favorite because I can swap the directions willy-nilly, and the side loading works well enough, and all the things. But like I said, you can always use the three-way merger here and we don't have any to build, but you can use the three-way mergers here, and they will let the through belt merge with the side-loaded belt here and mix those in a little bit better. So your mileage may vary, but these are the designs that I like. Or these are the designs that I've come up with, and this is the one that I like the most. But I think we should leave this here. We're at 45 minutes. We can delete these because I'm not going to use them because I like this one better. This one's more efficient in my mind, or more effective in my mind. And so we're going to set up a smelting column here of iron someplace. I might put it up here, actually, out of the way a little bit from this other iron, because we're probably going to have 2 iron smelting columns at some point. So I may put it up there, which means I may switch around these coal belts a little bit. But then we're just going to build like a bus, basically, for mall items, for belts and belt components, inserters and assemblers, and both the furnace burners and these burners, which we have not built yet. I think these also take just stone alone or something. Also, we're going to have to set up a new science area. And that science area can be a whole belt of iron fed into a whole belt of consumers. Actually, you can even direct feed it. 12.8, 12.8, 12.8. Actually, we didn't need this. Why did I do that? We don't need this. 12.8, and then this goes in like 50 of those or something obscene. So eventually we can work our way out to that. Not right now, but eventually we can work our way out to that level. But I think we're going to leave this here for now, as I said. And in the next episode, we will we'll scale this up. We'll use this, and then let's scale out our production of resources into a much more manageable or thorough, faster setup that we kind of haven't had yet. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.